Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
A really good morning for big tech following big results in the latest earnings reports. Both Microsoft and Meta platforms are surging pre-market after results suggesting the arms race in artificial intelligence spending may be starting to pay off. Joining us now is someone who's been sounding the drumbeat on the promise of AI, Dan Ives, Global Head of Tech Research at Wedbush Securities. You must be feeling really good this morning, Dan, and I want to start right off with your latest note on Microsoft. You're raising your price target on the stock to $625. Microsoft's already poised to become another $4 trillion company this morning. What gets Microsoft to $5 trillion in your view? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Look, me and you have talked about this for years. I think this was a watershed moment, not just for Microsoft, for Meta, and what it means for big tech when it comes to the AI revolution, hitting its next stage of growth. Look, I believe Microsoft and NVIDIA will be $5 trillion market caps in 2026. We are just starting this next stage of the AI revolution.
We saw a 39% sales jump in particular for Azure Cloud, a big piece of this as well. Is that kind of growth sustainable, those kinds of solid double-digit sales returns?
Hey, look, these are jaw-dropping numbers. I mean, when you think about cloud and even some of the strength that we were expecting coming in, it's one where enterprises are lining up with Microsoft, given what we're seeing on AI. Now, look, will that eventually moderate? Of course. But what this essentially means is Microsoft is almost creating another company within Microsoft in terms of AI that I believe right now, they're kind of leading the race when it comes to cloud ahead of Amazon, of course, Google.
In terms of what enterprise customers are getting out of that race, of course, we've seen the strides they've made with Microsoft Copilot. What other use cases do you see Microsoft putting out there for a broader market?
Look, I think it's across verticals. I mean, that's why you're seeing customers line up. And look at Microsoft. They're now, for CapEx, originally you were at $80 billion, now you're $120 billion. So as they're expanding, as you saw Alphabet do the same thing, this arms race is just starting. But I've said, look, this is a Scotty Scheffler quarter from Microsoft, but it's not the end. It's actually the beginning of the second, third, fourth derivatives playing out for AI, and that's bullish for tech.
So do you see Microsoft sort of building a moat around what it's doing with AI, or could some of its competitors chip away at what they're doing?
Yeah, we don't view it as a zero-sum game, and that's why we're bullish on Amazon and Google, and of course, when you look at Oracle as well. But on the enterprise, that's their backyard. That's where they dominate. And I think Nadella and Microsoft, they're playing almost another game now than everyone else, and that's what you're seeing in these numbers. Execution flawless. They obviously will get led in the velvet ropes to the $4 trillion market cap club with NVIDIA. But it's just the beginning in terms of this next stage of cloud and AI growth.
In terms of what we're seeing out of Meta platforms as well, Dan, I wonder what you make of this personal intelligence or personal super intelligence strategy that Mark Zuckerberg's putting out there with his AI vision.
I mean, that's how you're going to get to a 4-digit stock. Because I think Zuckerberg right now, wartime CEO, focused on really going to full sort of end-to-end when it comes to the consumer AI revolution. What's amazing about these numbers is just the advertising growth, even the lack of spend. This is a company that's transforming right in front of us. And they are going to be front and center as a monetization when it comes to the consumer piece of AI.
I love that you call it a lack of spend. I mean, we've seen him putting out, $100+ million pay packages for some of these people that he's poached from other companies to join his super intelligence team. He's talking about $66 to $72 billion in AI spend. Is that the kind of level that investors can stomach?
Look, eventually it will moderate, okay? But if you look at even just from an investment perspective or an advertising, you just forget about some of those pay packages. I mean, what you're seeing on the advertising growth is is really unprecedented. And in terms of like what they're spending there and CapEx and the different we're seeing in big tech, look, this is an arms race. And no tech company wants to be on the outside looking in. And that's what's so impressive about what Meta's doing, what Microsoft's doing, saw with Alphabet, and I think you'll see with Amazon as well. I mean, but it's not just about Mag 7. It will spread to the rest of tech.
Well, in our last minute or so, let's get to the companies that we are going to be hearing from after the bell today. You mentioned Amazon. We're going to hear from Apple as well. It seems like Apple has been kind of falling behind in terms of where they're going with AI.
Yeah, man, I think that's been the frustration, right? You have the biggest install base in the world. They need, I continue to believe Perplexity is the acquisition they need to make. It's not going to happen internally. But I think what it shows is look at Amazon. I mean, you could say Amazon a year ago was nowhere. Now aggressively focus on the AWS and monetizing when it comes to what's happening in cloud. Because we're talking about what's going to be a tech bull market for the next few years. Biggest tech theme we've seen in the last 40, 50 years. It's the fourth industrial revolution. Apple can't be on the outside looking in.
Just quickly, you've called for Apple to buy Perplexity and take its AI out from in-house. Do you see Tim Cook leaning that way toward an acquisitive stance?
Look, they've never done acquisitions really before outside Beats, but times are changing. You can't be on a park bench drinking lemonade while the AI revolution passes you by.
Appreciate the thoughts as always, Dan. Thanks for coming on early. That's Dan Ives, Global Head of Tech Research at Wedbush Securities.